Okay, hello. This is Lulu Soyan, and this is an introduction to web development and front-end programming. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to myself. That's me on the right. Shout out to BWib. Got my photo at a BWib LinkedIn headshot social. But anyways, I am one of the two managers of the tech committee. I'm a third year cognitive science student, which, if you haven't heard of that, it's the study of cognition broadly and involves the studying of both human systems and machine systems. So I get to take classes both on understanding the mind and human behavior, and classes on understanding computers. So I'm telling you all of this to give you a little bit of a background on my coding experience. I actually had no coding experience prior to UCLA. My high school just didn't offer any courses, but through my major, I've learned these following programming languages: C++, R, Java, and MATLAB. I'm currently taking MATLAB right now. One other handy thing, I don't know if there's any freshmen out there interested in um, programming and they don't know their majors, but with cognitive science, you can get a specialization in computing with only one more course. So I'm working my way towards that myself. Um, Now, for a little more relevant info to this workshop, I am also a front-end software development intern at Next Best AI Incorporated right now. So in this position, I am using the languages HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Um, the internship also provided me with an amazing online course as prep work called the Complete 2020 Web Development Bootcamp. This course was created by Angela Yu, and I credit most of my skills thus far to her, and I will reference her throughout this workshop. Um, and it's through these last two bullet points, my experience with Next Best and the online course, that I am going to teach you about web development and front-end programming. So what even is web development? I found this definition that I thought summed it up pretty well. Web development refers to building, creating, and maintaining websites. It includes aspects such as web design, web publishing, web programming, and database management. So basically, web development is all about websites and applications. It involves writing code that creates websites, code that makes them look beautiful, and code that makes them work. Next, you may ask, why even bother with web development? Is this for me? Should I even continue with this workshop? Well, I wanted to give you a look at some possible careers in the field of web development. You could be, if you go into web development, sorry, one possible career you could have is one as a computer programmer, which would involve creating code for computer applications and programs. You could also be a web developer and focus on designing websites, computer systems, and related platforms. You could be a database administrator and use software to sort and store information. Or you could also be a software developer and produce computer-based systems or applications. All of these careers and many more fall under web development. And if any of these sound interesting to you at all, then this workshop might be a good fit for you. Okay, so now I think is a good time to introduce an important distinction in the world of web development and in programming in general. There are these terms front end and back end that get thrown around a lot in the world of computer science and tech and programming. and they're relevant here too. So there's front end and there's back end development. Um, in terms of web development, front end deals with everything that the user sees and interacts with. I thought this quote made it really clear. It is what you see and what you use, such as the visual aspect of the website, the drop-down menus and text, all brought together by the front-end dev, who writes a series of programs to bind and structure the elements, make them look good, and add interactivity. Interactivity just refers to a website's ability to respond to a user's actions and the user's ability to interact with it. For example, clicking buttons and having those buttons do something. Now, on the other hand, back-end development deals with all the stuff behind the scenes. This isn't going to be really relevant for us in this workshop, but I think it still is important, like I said, to make the distinction. So summed up again in this quote is, this is where the data is stored. And without this data, there would be no front end. The back end of the web consists of the server that hosts the website, an application for running it, and a database to contain the data. An example of data that may need to be stored could be a user's login information. Say when you log on to your favorite online shopping site, if you enter in your name and you create an account with your email and your password, that all needs to be stored somewhere. And then anytime you go back, that information also needs to be retrieved. And this is all of that kind of data and sorting and storing is all accomplished with back-end development. But like I said, we are going to focus on front end. I'm working as a front end dev intern, and I'm going to teach you some skills that I've learned. So why programming? I just thought I'd throw in this little blurb because I know for me, programming was super intimidating at first, but I just wanted to give you a few reasons as to why even bother. First, you can add some technical skills to your resume. Also, programming has enhanced my problem-solving skills and given me new strategies for problem-solving that can be useful in any aspect of life, I feel like. I've learned to approach problems with sort of a different mindset. Also, I feel like programming, at least in my opinion, is becoming more and more prevalent in our world in every aspect, in every industry. There's either data or someone who wants a website, and we're just becoming ever more virtual. Everyone's surfing the web, and I think it could be super useful to be equipped with some programming skills. Lastly, the type of programming I'm going to address will lead you towards being able to make websites, which I think is pretty cool. The front-end programming languages are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this workshop, we're going to focus primarily on HTML, which is this logo on the left. All of these languages have their own specific purposes. HTML, or its long name is HyperText Markup Language, is used to provide the structure and what I would say is the bare bones of a website. CSS, which is the logo here in the middle, is primarily for providing the style of websites. So this is the language that makes your websites look really beautiful and really pretty. Its full name is Cascading Style Sheets. And lastly, JavaScript, this logo here on the right, is used to provide websites with their functionality. So in order to get a website to do what you want it to do, you would need to use JavaScript. So narrowing down our focus, this will be an introduction to HTML, or like I said, hypertext markup language. I thought I'd include one brief history fact. HTML is not all that old, but it is basically as old as the internet. It was created by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991 in order for him to satisfy his own personal needs and desires. Um, the name in itself perfectly describes what HTML is. Hypertext is text that serves as links to other information, and a markup language is a language that uses tags to define elements in a document. So, in other words, HTML is a language that uses a bunch of tags that serve as links to other information. But this might prompt you to ask, what are tags? Tags are keywords within a web page that define how your browser, which is, in this case, a web browser is any application that accesses the internet, such as Chrome, Firefox, Safari, etc. But these tags within the web page tell that browser, whichever one you may use, how it must format and display the content in the HTML file. So HTML is simply made up of elements that are referenced by their tags. I know this all probably sounds pretty foreign and confusing, but I still wanted to provide some examples of tags just right here so you can see them. Every HTML file begins and ends with this HTML tag here. So if you see, what all of these tags have in common is they're contained in what look like these greater than, less than signs, and also they're in pairs. The opening tags are all accompanied by a closing tag with the same word inside, but a / before it. I will go into more detail into what this means, but I just want to introduce you at this moment what a tag is and what it looks like. This format where they have both a closing tag and an opening tag, this is true for most all HTML elements, though of course there are some exceptions. But now, in order to get a look at some real-life HTML and HTML tags, I need you guys to download our first application. So, the first thing to download is Chrome. I'm not sure if a lot of you already have Chrome, but if you do not have Google Chrome, it will be super helpful for us in this workshop as it provides some super cool tools and tricks under its built-in developer view. If you don't already have Chrome installed, please pause the video and follow these steps to lead you to the instructions for downloading Chrome. Okay, so I hope everyone has Chrome downloaded successfully now. And so the really cool thing about Chrome is that, like I said, it has this developer view, which allows you to do all sorts of things, including inspecting and viewing the HTML and CSS for any website. So I actually learned of this tool with Chrome. I've always used Chrome, but I didn't even know it could do this until recently through Angela Yu's online course, and I thought it was super fascinating. So let's go inspect some HTML. Okay, so I want you to open up Google Chrome for me, which we should all have downloaded now. And let's pull up BWib's website. Okay, here it is. Okay, so now go to View, Developer, Inspect Elements, and look at all of this code that it pulls up. So we're going to do something fun with this. Also notice, however, how I hover my mouse over certain areas of the code. Their respective elements in the websites are highlighted. So this, I know we don't know what this means yet, but this div must correspond to that right there, this heading. So, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so let's go into the body and have some fun with our website. So I want you to find the body tag like this. And if you click on it, the arrow should be pointing down, and that expands all of the code that is inside of it. And then I want you to find this tag div that has ID site wrapper, and I want you to expand this one, clicking on this down arrow. So I just closed it. I'm going to open it back up. And then I want you to click on this div that says class banner thumbnail wrapper has description. And you see we're narrowing in on this part of our code right here. When I hover my mouse over banner thumbnail wrapper, that part is highlighted. Now I want you to go down to where it says div class DESC wrapper. And I don't know if you can guess yet, but I'm kind of trying to narrow us in on the words empowering women leaders and starts with you. So we're working down the code and getting closer and closer. So I want you to expand this now, and you should see this P class, empowering women leaders. So the P tag stands for paragraph, and it basically just is an element that includes text in a paragraph. So now for fun, I want you to double click on this, delete it, and type in anything that you want. I love cats. I actually have 3 at home. And you should see it change on the website, which is pretty crazy. I was like bragging to my dad and changing a bunch of websites when I learned this trick. But don't panic. You are only editing the copy that belongs to your web browser in this moment, your local copy. So this is just the copy on my Google Chrome right now that I've made this edit to. And notice that when I refresh the page, it goes back to normal. But you can do this with just almost any website, as all websites are essentially HTML files. So now that we've had our fun with Inspect, and I've hopefully gotten you a little bit excited with HTML, I want to introduce you to the idea that I have for us and this workshop. Okay, so my project idea for us is to create a how-to website. Given the fact that we are all in quarantine and either chefing it up or doing crafts along with other just out of routine activities, I was thinking that it could be fun and good practice to create some how-to websites explaining how to do one of your favorite pastimes. Perhaps it's a recipe or a step-by-step homemade craft process or steps on how to master a TikTok dance. You can choose what you like. I personally will be creating a how-to recipe website because I know recently with all this going on, I've been asked for a few recipes, and I can't help to think how nice it would be to be able to just send someone a link rather than retyping the entire recipe. Or for me, my family's cookbook is a mess, so having to go through the cookbook and find it again and take a photo. I just think it could be really handy to have a website with my favorite recipe on it, personalized. So this leads me to the next thing for us to download. In order for us to be able to complete this project that I have in mind, this how-to website project, we are going to need a text editor. And a text editor is simply just an application that allows you to edit text. I know that sounds way too simple, but it really is just as simple as that. Um, However, what is really great about text editors is they come with lots of amazing features that can make writing code a lot easier. Um, so some examples are, I just took a class in Java at UCLA. My professor, he used the text editor Sublime, which I've never used, and I did my homework in that class on VS Code, and with my internship, I'm using VS Code. Um, a common Mac text editor is Xcode. Even Notepad is a text editor, but we're going to be using the text editor called Atom. And Atom has some especially helpful packages for web development. So let's go to Chrome and let's get Atom downloaded. Okay, so let's open up Google Chrome and let's type in download Atom. And I want you to click on this atom.io, the official website of Atom. You can tell it is a really great website, and it should detect what computer system you're on. So as you can see, it detects that I am on Mac OS. And then from here, I want you to click this download button, and that should prompt it to download a zip file, and then you will open the zip. It should be in your Finder under Downloads. You should see the Atom application, and you drag this to your Applications folder. If this is confusing at all, I'm going to redirect us to the slides where I've included screenshots of written instructions. I also apologize, I'm more familiar with Mac, but it should also detect if you're on a Windows system, and on the slide I will have instructions for Windows as well. So let's navigate back there. Okay, so why don't you pause the video here and make sure you have Atom installed correctly, and hopefully these instructions are helpful if downloading the file from the Atom website and unzipping it is of any trouble. Okay, now that you have Atom installed, the only other thing we need to do to be set up is to download some of Atom's packages. So now I'm going to navigate over to Atom, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. But first, I want to explain what packages even are. Packages are pre-written bundles of code that make writing code much easier and much cleaner. And they're also entirely free. Someone else did all the busy work, and they created the packages, and we just get to download them. So you're going to need this list. Maybe pause the video and snap a photo or write down the packages that we need. Or even you can rewind after watching me show you within Atom. So you can rewind and go back to this slide and see the list. But now I'm going to go navigate over to Atom and show you where to go to download packages. Okay, so here I've opened up Atom. This is what it should look like for you too, and you should see under this Get to Know Atom, you should see this Install a Package. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to click on Open Installer. And it's actually super easy. All you do is you type in the names of those packages on the list that I gave you, just as they appear. So I'm typing in Atom Beautify, and as you can see, I already have it installed, so it's prompting me to either uninstall it or disable it. which I really don't want to do because Atom Beautify, if you just click this Beautify button, it formats all your code for you, which is super nice and super handy. So it should have a little install button for you since you haven't installed it yet, and you would just hit install and that's all you need to do. So why don't you pause the video and finish downloading all those packages on the list. I think there are 8 of them. Okay, so now you should have Atom installed along with those packages that I put on the slide. And that's super exciting because now we can start doing the fun stuff. So now that we're all set up and ready to go, let's create our first basic HTML file in Atom. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is a project folder. So this is where all of our files for this project are going to go. So let's go, I'm in Atom, let's go to File, Add Project Folder, and I'm going to create a new one. So new folder, oops, I don't want it to be within my documents. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to create it and call it bwib web dev workshop. So let's create that. And within there, I'm going to create a new folder and call it project 1, create, and let's open that. Okay, so now we have this project 1 folder inside of our overarching bwib web dev workshop folder. So in this project 1 folder, which is where we're going to put our introductory site, let's right click on that and click new file. And we're going to call this file, so this is where you type the file name, we're going to call it index.html. So that's the syntax for most file names. It's the name of the file and then the extension. So because we're working with HTML files, the extension, the part that follows the dot, is HTML. And the normal name for your root HTML file is index.html. So we're just going to follow convention and stick to that. So now what we're going to do is type HTML and hit enter. So we get all this code that pops up, which looks kind of scary, but it pops up effortlessly because of those packages we downloaded. And this code right in front of us, this is called the HTML boilerplate. And the HTML boilerplate it's really just the template for any website, for any HTML file. And like I said, it popped up like that so easily for us because of those packages we installed. But if you needed to and you didn't have those packages, you could definitely just type this out too. Because the boilerplate is pretty simple. It includes these opening HTML and closing HTML tags, and then 2 main sections, the head section and the body section. So notice how when I click on these, there's a blue line underlining the tags that go together. So this is really handy if your code gets unformatted and it gets a little messy, then you can click on it and kind of find its partner. It highlights it for you. But so now also, the most important thing to know about the head tag is that the head contains the title of the document, which, as you will see in a second, The title will be what appears on the tab when your website is open in the browser. The head contains the metadata, which is just data about data for the website. So most of this isn't even shown. And for us right now, we don't really need to pay attention to any elements inside of the head tags except for the fact that this is where our title is. And it's also important to note that a head tag is required for any HTML file. So in terms of this body tag, this body section, I'm going to space these out so it's a little more clear. The body, this is where all the content goes. So all the fun stuff of your website will go inside this body opening and closing tag. Now, let's kind of see this in action because I feel like this will make more sense once we start coding a little. Okay, so I'm not sure if anyone's taking programming courses or has any experience, but a common first exercise in almost any programming course or anytime you're learning coding is to run a program that says either hello or hello world, basically just saying hi. So I thought we could kind of do our own little rendition of that for our first HTML file in our first code that we write in HTML. So why don't we say hi, like the classic hello world intro to programming problem, but let's also type in our favorite color or whatever other fact you feel like typing. So we're going to do this. This is content of the website. So content goes within the body tags. Also, everything inside HTML goes inside tags. So this text that we're going to write, introducing ourselves, and I'm probably going to write my favorite color, that needs to be inside a tag. So we're going to enclose that in a P tag. And if you see, Adam is suggesting for paragraph. And P tag is simply just that. It's text inside a paragraph. So I'm going to write, hi, my name is Lulu, and my favorite color is yellow. And while we're at it, let's just title our website. Let's call it Lulu's Introduction. Obviously here, you'd be using your name and anything you want to include, I guess, but hi, my name is your name, and my favorite color is your color. So you see this blue dot up by our index.html, that means our file's not saved yet. And if we hit Command Save or a shortcut to save on whatever your system is, that should go away, as you see it just did for me. Okay, so now for the fun part, opening this up in our web browser. What we want to do after you've saved your file is click on index.html. You're going to right click and click copy full path. So now that I copied the full path, I'm going to open up Google Chrome. Okay, so now I'm going to right click, paste that file, hit enter, and look at that. There is my website. Hi, my name is Lulu, and my favorite color is yellow, just like I had typed. Oh, shoot. I meant to share my Google Chrome with you. Okay, so here it is, but because you didn't see that opening in action, I am going to copy and paste it again, hit enter, and there it is. And here's the title that we had typed in, Lulu's Introduction. And this, "Hi, my name is Lulu and my favorite color is yellow," is the text that we enclosed in our P tag. So if you guys got this far, then good job, guys. I'm really proud of you, and we are only one step closer to making that how-to site. Okay, so before we're done, I just wanted to review what we just learned about. This is a slide on the HTML boilerplate, which, like I said, is just the very basic template of any HTML file. You have the opening and closing HTML tags, and you also have the two main elements, the head, which includes things like the title, and the body, which includes the content. Okay, so that is all for the introduction. Thank you so much for listening and coding along with me, and next time we will work on our personal how-to site.